Hi guys, it's Liam here from All Things FPL, and we're bringing you a new series today where we look at the past refereeing and VAR decisions of the week. We take a look back and have a discussion as to see whether the correct decisions were made and ultimately provide my own view on the decisions. We can't take a look at every decision, obviously over the weekend, but I've highlighted a couple of most notable ones and that's what we're going to cover today. So the first game we're going to look at is Brighton v West Brom. The referee in this game was Lee Mason, and there's also a picture of Lewis Dunk on screen because of his comments he made afterwards, which we'll discuss as well. Essentially what happened here was Brighton got a free kick just outside the West Brom box. It was in a dangerous position and the Brighton players were stood over the ball. The West Brom keeper, Sam Johnston, was setting up his wall and was essentially hugging one of the posts in doing so. Before the wall was set up, the referee Lee Mason blew for the free kick to be taken. Dunk seeing that Johnston was at one end of the post and basically hit the ball at the other end of the net, and the ball sailed into the net and there was no chance for the West Brom keeper to get there because, like I say, he was at the other side. Before the ball went in though, the referee, probably noticing that Johnston was still setting his wall up, blew the whistle again to essentially cancel play just before the ball went in. The Brighton players are obviously fuming because they've heard the whistle to take the free kick, taking it, it's gone in, and they're not happy. They're all surrounding the referee. The West Brom players are surrounding the referee. Referee's just looking and probably thinking, oh God, what have I done? Lee Mason then signals to suggest it should be taken again, but then shortly after he gives the goal and to Brighton. So at this point everyone's confused, no one's sure what's happening. Then it goes to VAR. VAR played a clip without sound in the background, and essentially you can hear Lee Mason's whistle go for the second time just before the goal goes in. Therefore, VAR ultimately gave the decision that because the second whistle went, the goal couldn't stand as play was stopped, which was very harsh on Brighton, but may have been the correct decision at the end of the day. I say may have been the correct decision because ultimately, if we think about this in the grand scheme of things, you can't take free kicks when the keeper's setting up his wall. You've got to wait and at least let the keeper get back into position. It's not the keeper's fault the referee blew prematurely, and the fact that Lee Mason blew the whistle for a second time obviously highlights this and shows that he didn't see Johnston setting his wall up and didn't see that he wasn't fully positioned. You've got to let the keeper get ready in these situations. Therefore, VAR actually got the right call, but in the end it was all a bit farcical from the referee and he's now coming under fire. I believe at the time of recording this, he's now been taken off as being the fourth official of the Sheffield United-Liverpool game. Obviously, the refereeing association is trying to take him out of the limelight to protect him from scrutiny. I do feel sorry for Brighton because they took the free kick when the whistle went and therefore they can feel a bit hard done by, but I think ultimately the correct decision was made because if this goal was scored against your club, you'd be looking for VAR to intervene as well. And to be honest, without going into too much detail, Brighton had enough chances in that game to win it, and they've only got themselves to blame for not taking away 3 points from that because West Brom were there for the taking. Despite that, Lee Mason's refereeing in this game was a bit of a farce and a fail on his part. You'll see on screen that Lewis Dunk made a couple of comments afterwards. He called it totally, utterly shameful, disgraceful piece of nonsense. I do think he's going a bit too far there, but at the same time, I hope the FA can take a bit of leniency when it comes to this because he's obviously frustrated at a poor refereeing display. And yeah, hopefully he doesn't get banned for saying them comments. The next decision we're going to look at was in the United v Chelsea game. The referee in this game was Stuart Atwell, and the incident involved a possible handball by Callum Hudson-Odoi. Essentially what happened here is that Greenwood and Hudson-Odoi were both battling for the ball inside the Chelsea area. The ball hit Odoi's hand as shown on the picture on screen, and VAR suggests to Stuart Atwell that he should take a look at the incident. The referee goes to the VAR screen where there's a replay to have a look at the incident, and there's also Chelsea players behind him looking at the incident, which I believe isn't right. I think it should be a booking. The players were Azpilicueta and Hudson-Odoi. Stuart Atwell has a look at the replay and ultimately his end decision was that of no penalty. Now the issue we have here is that the handball rule seems to be a complete mess at the moment and it's very unclear. Hudson-Odoi's hand is in an unnatural position, so based on previous decisions this season, it should be a penalty, in my opinion. This is highlighted by a few tweets shown on Tween from Gary Lineker, TalkSport, and a couple of United journals who are probably going to be biased anyway. But I think the understanding is that if your hand/arm is in an unnatural position and you handball it and the ball hits your arm, even if you mean it or not to, then if it's in the area, it's a penalty. And I think this is why the United fans and the players were very unhappy with the decision. Now, I think a lot of United fans were happy to leave it there, to be honest. The game finished 0-0 and no team really deserved to win based on the chances that were created. Both teams didn't really do much during the game, and therefore 0-0 was probably a fair result. However, after the game, Luke Shaw came out on a post-match interview and basically said that he heard Harry Maguire speaking to the referee, and the referee said that he didn't want to award the penalty because it would cause too much controversy. Now, Manchester United have later come out and confirmed that Luke Shaw misheard the conversation and that the referee didn't say this. The FA have decided not to fine or ban Luke Shaw based on his post-match comments. This is strange, bearing in mind that if you say one bad thing about the referee post-match, then you're likely going to get a fine or a ban. Therefore, the fact that Luke Shaw's gotten away with it suggests that there actually might have been a conversation. It might not have been exactly what Luke Shaw heard, but there might have been something said, and both parties have sort of agreed to say, well, you don't ban Luke Shaw and we won't take this any further. It would not surprise me one bit if that was the case, because essentially the game's already done for United. We can't go back in time and change the decision or take a penalty now, so there'd be no point. We can only do that against Brighton. Going back to the actual incident itself, I just thought I'd finish with my opinion. I will say that I'm a United fan and therefore sort of biased, but for me, they've been given all season and therefore I'm unsure why it wasn't given against Chelsea. Adoy's hand is in an unnatural position. I guess the only thing you could argue is that maybe Mason Greenwood pushed his arm into the ball. If that's the case, then I do have a bit of more sympathy and maybe it wasn't a penalty. But for me, for the replays I've seen, that was a penalty and I've seen them given. Obviously, a lot of social media also agrees that it's a penalty, and obviously there's a lot of Chelsea fans who don't think it was a penalty. Ultimately, it was 50-50. It could have been given, but it wasn't. And like I say, the game shouldn't be. United shouldn't be deciding games based on penalties. They should be winning it from open play. Like I say, I'm not going to go into every incident during the weekend, but I do have on screen just some notable shout-outs. Firstly, the Tielemans incident against Arsenal. Arsenal won the game anyway, so I don't think they were too bothered in the end. But essentially what happened was Pepe was running into the box, he was fouled, and it looked really close to being in the box, but ultimately a free kick was given. At the time I was watching AFTV and they seemed certain that it was a penalty inside the box, so just be grateful for your thoughts if you've seen it and tell me what you think in the comment section. Just another controversial decision which I thought could be discussed was the incident involving Shea Adams and Everton. I believe it was Michael Keane or Ben Godfrey battling with Shea Adams, and Shea Adams looks to knock the ball past the Everton defender, but the Everton defender loses his footing and falls to the floor. As Shea Adams tries to run past, he seems to fall over the Everton defender who's lying on the floor. I thought this one was also controversial because it bared resemblance to the incident involving Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Trent Alexander-Arnold in the Merseyside derby. Guys, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I hope to make this a weekly thing, but we'll need dodgy refereeing decisions to do that. They don't seem to be stopping at the minute, so we'll see if we can keep this a weekly episode. If not, if by some miracle all the refereeing decisions are correct and at the weekend, then obviously I can't make a video. Also, if I missed any incidents, put it in the comments and I'll respond with my view. And guys, please like and subscribe. I'm currently a new channel and any subscribers I get I'd currently be over the moon with. Thanks for watching. Peace.